Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. What's stopping you right now from living the life you know you're capable of? Is it fear? Doubt? Maybe it's the belief that life happens to you instead of for you. Today, I'm here to tell you something powerful. Your mind is your most incredible tool, your ultimate weapon, and your greatest ally. But like any tool, it's only as effective as the way you use it. The good news is this: you can reprogram it. You can rewrite the script. And once you do, success becomes inevitable. Let's dive into the 7 ways to reprogram your mind for success, starting now. The story you tell yourself is the foundation of the life you live. Every belief you hold, every decision you make, every action you take is rooted in the narrative that plays in your mind. Most people don't even realize they are narrating their own lives. They think they're observing reality, but in truth, they're filtering that reality through the lens of their inner story. That story shapes what you believe about yourself, your potential, and the world around you. And here's the thing: if your story is disempowering, if it's rooted in fear, limitation, or past failures, it's not just holding you back, it's building walls around your future. Your brain is hardwired to seek consistency. If your story says, "I'm not good enough," your brain will unconsciously find evidence to support that. It'll remind you of the times you failed or fell short. It'll amplify your insecurities and minimize your victories. But if you change that story, if you shift it to say, "I am resourceful, resilient, and capable," suddenly your brain starts looking for proof of that truth. It starts scanning for opportunities, successes, and reasons to believe in your potential. It's like flipping a switch, and the power of that flip can change everything. Here's what makes the story so potent. It's not just about what you consciously think, it's about the subconscious programming running beneath the surface. That programming often comes from experiences, environments, or messages you internalized growing up. Maybe someone told you that you'd never succeed, and without realizing it, you turned that into your reality. Maybe you've been telling yourself for years that success isn't for people like you. Whatever the case, you've got to uncover those scripts, challenge them, and rewrite them. Changing your story starts with awareness. You've got to become conscious of the narrative you're telling yourself. Pay attention to the words you use when you think about your goals, your challenges, and your identity. Are you saying things like, "I can't, I'll never," or "That's just who I am"? Every time you use limiting language, you reinforce a limiting belief. It's like pouring concrete over your feet and wondering why you can't move forward. Once you're aware of the story, the next step is to question it. Ask yourself, is this story even true? And here's the kicker: most of the time it's not. It's a distorted perception, a skewed memory, or an outdated belief that no longer serves you. The truth is, you are far more capable, adaptable, and powerful than the story you've been telling yourself. You've just got to see it. Rewriting your story isn't about ignoring reality or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about shifting the way you frame those challenges. Instead of saying, "I'm stuck," you say, "I'm learning." Instead of thinking, "This is too hard," you think, "I'm growing stronger." The story doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to empower you. It has to move you forward instead of holding you back. A powerful way to change your story is to immerse yourself in new experiences that challenge your old beliefs. When you step out of your comfort zone and achieve something you didn't think you could, it shatters the limits of your old narrative. You start to see yourself in a new light, and that new perspective fuels a better story. Another crucial piece is surrounding yourself with people who reflect the story you want to live. If you're around people who constantly reinforce your doubts and fears, it's like trying to rewrite a book while someone else is scribbling over your words. But when you connect with people who uplift you, who believe in you, and who are living the kind of story you aspire to, it's like having co-authors who help you write your next chapter. Your story isn't static. It's not set in stone. It's a living, breathing narrative that you can change at any time. The question is, are you willing to challenge the old version and step into a new one? Are you ready to stop telling yourself why you can't and start telling yourself why you can? The story you choose to believe will determine the actions you take, and the actions you take will determine the life you create. What you focus on becomes your reality. It's not just a saying or a motivational phrase. It's a fundamental truth about how the human brain works. Your focus directs your thoughts, your emotions, and ultimately your actions. When you choose to zero in on a particular aspect of your life, whether it's a problem, a possibility, or a goal, that focus grows in significance and intensity. Your mind magnifies what you give attention to, and in doing so, it filters out everything else. That's why focus is so powerful. It has the ability to shape not only how you see the world, but also what you believe is possible within it. Most people don't consciously choose their focus. They let their attention drift to whatever's loudest, most immediate, or most familiar. They get caught up in distractions, negativity, or worst-case scenarios, and then they wonder why they feel overwhelmed or stuck. The truth is, what you focus on, you feel. If you spend your time focusing on problems, you'll feel stressed. If you focus on gratitude, you'll feel fulfilled. If you focus on opportunity, you'll feel motivated. It's not magic, it's the way your mind is wired. Your brain can't process everything at once, so it relies on your focus to decide what's important. Think of your focus as a spotlight. The world around you is full of endless possibilities, challenges, and experiences, but your focus determines what gets illuminated. If you shine that spotlight on fear, doubt, or failure, those are the things that will dominate your experience. But if you direct it toward growth, solutions, or success, that's what will come into view. The key is to become intentional about where you're shining that light. When you focus on something consistently, your brain starts to build patterns around it. This is where the concept of neuroplasticity comes into play. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on the thoughts you think and the emotions you feel. If you repeatedly focus on negative outcomes, you're literally training your brain to expect negativity. On the other hand, if you focus on possibilities and positive outcomes, you're teaching your brain to look for opportunities. Over time, your focus doesn't just shape your thoughts, it rewires your brain to make those thoughts your default. There's a natural tendency for people to focus on what's wrong or what's missing in their lives. It's part of our survival instinct. Your brain evolved to look for threats and problems as a way to keep you safe. But while that mindset might have helped our ancestors avoid danger, it doesn't serve you when it comes to achieving success. In today's world, you have to consciously train your mind to focus on what's working, what's possible, and what you can control. Focus isn't just about what you think, it's also about what you feel. Your emotions are deeply tied to your focus. If you focus on something that excites you, you'll feel energized and inspired. If you focus on something that frustrates you, you'll feel drained and discouraged. The shift can happen in an instant. And it's all about where you direct your attention. The same situation can evoke completely different emotions depending on how you frame it. Two people can face the same challenge, but one sees it as an obstacle while the other sees it as an opportunity. The difference is focus. The beauty of focus is that it's within your control. You might not be able to control every circumstance or outcome, but you can always control where you place your attention. This is why it's so important to develop habits and practices that help you direct your focus intentionally. Meditation, journaling, and visualization are powerful tools for training your mind to focus on what matters most. They create space for clarity, reduce distractions, and help you align your thoughts with your goals. One of the most effective ways to shift your focus is to ask better questions. Your brain is like a search engine, and the questions you ask it determine the answers you get. If you ask, why does this always happen to me? Your brain will come up with reasons to justify that belief. But if you ask, what can I learn from this? Or how can I turn this into an advantage? Your brain will start looking for empowering answers. The questions you ask yourself are like a compass, guiding your focus in a specific direction. Another critical aspect of focus is managing your environment. Your surroundings have a massive impact on what captures your attention. If you're surrounded by negativity, distractions, or chaos, it's going to be much harder to focus on success. But if you intentionally create an environment that supports your goals, whether that's through the people you associate with, the media you consume, or the physical spaces you inhabit, you make it easier to direct your focus where it needs to be. It's also important to recognize that focus is a skill. And like any skill, it gets better with practice. The more you train your mind to focus on what you want instead of what you fear, the stronger that ability becomes. It's not about ignoring challenges or pretending problems don't exist. It's about choosing to focus on the aspects of your life that move you forward rather than the ones that hold you back. Your focus determines your reality. If you want to change your life, you have to change what you're focusing on. By doing so, you not only shift your perspective, you shift your entire experience. Focus is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. When you master it, you gain the power to create the life you've always envisioned.